Let's get right into the bitch. We're gonna talk about it as more we get into it.
So, while of course there are aspects that I think you can control about your physique, I think there are more things that are out of your control. Like, it is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap.
Well, I mean,
All right, we're gonna stop right there. Nah, he's a moderator. He's in there. I mean, he's a narrator as well. But we're gonna narrate our own shit. That's cap. Go to Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Calories in, calories out. You could just eat less calories. It actually saves money. You actually save more money eating less than you would eating more. The more you eat, the more money you spend on the food itself. The more monthly uh, income you're spending on food. If you eat out all the time, you eat fast food all the time, lots of money go out, that adds up. You could spend $10 to $15 meal on McDonald's or some shit and be hungry within 4 hours. But then you could spend the same $15 on like 2 baskets of fruit, some chicken, and some bread, and be satiated for a longer period of time. So that's already debunked. Let's go ahead and keep going.
that's still in your control. You don't have to shop at Whole Foods, and you can also choose to buy food that is a little bit more expensive, but buy less of it and eat less of it. Surely it can't be that much more expensive if you're eating a massive amount of junk food. Like, it has to even out because binge eating costs a lot of money. Let's hear more of her argument, but first, let me tell you about this video's sponsor, Scentbird. Are you looking to upgrade your smell but have no idea where to start? Well, Scentbird favorite, and I think next time I'm going to try out smells that are more like this one because it gives off a very relaxed vibe.
And fresh fruit and everything.
I disagree. The prepackaged foods, the frozen ones, way more expensive. I always save money by just going to the grocery store and buying ingredients.
I agree with you on that, but I can go get a frozen meal sometimes for $1.50, $2, where if I want to cook a whole meal, and that could be $10.
So you'll get more.
Okay, so unfortunately, I'm actually going to agree with Jade, the white dress girl, slightly. I've seen several videos like this one comparing the cost of making different foods at home compared to the cost of the cheapest option at the store, and if you're just going for the cheapest option and don't care about quality or taste, the pre-made food is a lot cheaper than making it yourself. And food prices have been going up so much that this is starting to be true for a lot of meals. But that doesn't mean that it's unaffordable to eat healthy or that there aren't compromises that you can make to fit healthy eating into your budget. Buy large bags of rice and beans at Costco. Get everything in bulk. Get your chicken in bulk. Get your vegetables in bulk. Get some glass containers on Amazon, take one day out of the week, and spend some time meal prepping for that whole week. To be perfectly honest, when you're dieting, I think it's a stupid idea to vary your diet a bunch anyway. That just makes it more likely that you'll undercount calories or wish you had something more. It's much better to have a couple of set meals that you eat over and over at the same times every day when you're trying to drop weight. So stop the excuses. Frozen meals on sale aren't that much cheaper, and anyone can figure out how to eat reasonably healthy with a little strategy. You don't need to buy organic or pasture-raised or whatever. Just wash your produce before you eat it, cook all of your own food, and you'll be way healthier than the average American.
There's also privilege when it comes to like having time
Yes.
to cook stuff.
Definitely,
Like if you work a
100%,
full-time job,
100%.
if you have kids and stuff, a lot of the time it's just easier. You don't have the time and energy. Like, I enjoy cooking, but it's a lot of work sometimes. And it's much easier for me to just like go through the drive-through.
Wait, what kind of junk food are the kids eating if you're complaining about cost and saying that you don't have time to cook? And she definitely is lying about how much she likes cooking. I can tell she doesn't cook that often because there are like a million different quick recipes. This is something that's easy to work out when you aren't making excuses for everything, and you don't need time privilege to make your own food.
You can easily just make the same thing or make a whole pot of something on a Sunday and have it like throughout the week. If you feel like you don't want to cook that week, you can make a big pot of lasagna, a big pot of pasta, and have it from Sunday to Thursday. Then Friday, you decide to finally cook some different shit, and then you can make a whole pot of that for the next 4 5 days. Do you see how like you can stretch it out? There's been families. I had a family. I lived with all my cousins in one house. It was like 7, 8 of us in one house. Damn near 10 of us in one house, and we made it last. We made it work. So it's just excuses on excuses that I see, and the body shows the results of your excuses, lady. No, no, no.
Mexican food has to be the most efficient when it comes to good tasting food that doesn't take that long to make. And it's not expensive either. If I'm meal prepping, especially for weight loss, I can make a week's worth of dinner in about 45 minutes by doing a burrito bowl with ground beef and rice and a little bit of cheese. There's a lot of downtime during that recipe once the meat starts cooking, so in those 45 minutes, I can also hard boil a week's worth of eggs. Include the time that it takes to wash dishes, which I can also partially do while the food is cooking, and now I got breakfast and dinner in around an hour while I was listening to a podcast or a book on my phone. There are so many foods that don't take any time. Baked chicken and rice, scrambled eggs, steak if you want to spend the money, and there's also like a million crock pot recipes that take like 5 seconds of prep work, followed by just waiting for several hours. Instead of going through a fast food drive-thru every day, how about you spend the time learning how to make things quickly, which is easy, because you have this amazing resource called YouTube, where you can learn every efficient way to cook an egg by watching a single video that you can speed up. The reason that you don't have time is because you aren't making time.
I really appreciated you bringing up
Hey, that's facts, gang.
the food access that you have, the knowledge access, your socioeconomic status. I go to the gym, I sit there, and I'm like, if only everyone had access and the free time to do this. I'm sure so many other people would love to do that, but people are struggling. They need to pay their rent. They can't just allot that time. They need to prioritize. And I think that's ultimately what is really sad.
Holy crap, she's like the white savior for fat people. Yes, you guys have it so hard. So this is the point where I can see that people are just making excuses because they don't want to do it. In this case, she's making them for other people. But have you ever had this happen? When you're talking to someone about a thing they can do and they just give you a million excuses for why they can't do it? The excuses don't matter. What they're really saying is they don't want to do it, or they're not willing to figure out a schedule that works for them. This girl Bree brought up exercise. Exercise doesn't take that much time. You don't have to spend an hour and a half at the gym 5 times a week to be fit. What you have to do is be efficient. If you're a beginner at weightlifting, you can do a workout like this one twice a week with 20-pound dumbbells that takes about 20 minutes and get incredible results. Basically no time at all. Do you have back pain, need to increase your range of motion, or practice posture? Well, on screen is a yoga sequence that I've created for you that will help, that is full of a bunch of common poses that can be easily looked up. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and it only has to be done about 2 or 3 times a week. But we are literally talking about an hour to an hour.
When it comes to back pain, most of y'all probably just need to strengthen y'all hips, strengthen y'all core. Do them leg raises, like I'm telling y'all, and strengthen your, probably got to do something with your hips. Activate your hips, loosen your hips up and strengthen your hips up, and strengthen your core. And shit, you could do deadlift movements, small deadlift movements with the dumbbells to strengthen your back up. Because that's all you need is more strength around that area. You probably got muscle around everywhere else but that area for real. Or a small amount of muscle. Or none at all. Depending, if you don't use it, you lose it. So
hour and a half a week of exercise to get the vast majority of the benefits of weightlifting and yoga as a beginner. Cardio? Get a walking treadmill. They aren't too expensive and they don't take up a lot of space. You put this thing in front of your TV and you walk for an hour or so while you're watching a movie. This girl here from the beginning said that she lost a bunch of weight by doing that. It's like a cheat code for burning extra calories, and it's easy cardio, especially for people who aren't.
Play solo. After work.
I do.
No stress. World of Warships is naval combat without pressure. You command legend.
That fit.
Like, let's say, for example, you're a teenager and you're like 500 pounds.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
work that you need to do to remedy that is ungodly. Like, that's really challenging. That's a hard thing to do for anybody. As opposed to like me, I was really skinny and then I decided, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I put on my weight. The results are showing. It looks like I'm working super hard. I make these choices like, go girl.
Right.
But that is not the same accessibility that someone can make that change for themselves in different circumstances.
I agree.
Yeah, so there's actually a simple solution to this as well. You just do your weight loss journey like you're running a marathon and not a sprint. For some people, it's an ultra marathon, but the strategy for very overweight people is going to be different than it is for someone who just needs to lose 10 to 20 pounds. For one, you don't need to be thin to see results. If you were 500 pounds and dropped down to 475, then you're going to be feeling pretty good. It's very easy to find satisfaction in every 5 pounds that you lose. 2, Dr. Mike Israetel has a pretty good game plan for this. If you have to lose 100 pounds, you do it in segments. You diet really hard for about 3 months, you lose 20 to 25 pounds or so, take a 1 to 2 month break from dieting by eating maintenance calories, and then go back to the diet again for 3 months. You're still burning 50 plus pounds a year by doing that. Yes,
That's a good way for the average man to do that because they're not going to try to burn that all within 1 year. So that's a good way. But see, it's the fact of doing. The reason why they're average is because they're just the doing part. That's it.
means it might take multiple years to lose all of your weight, but it's going to take multiple years no matter what you do if you're really heavy. The good thing about the 1 to 2 month break periods where you just maintain your weight is that when you get down to a healthy weight, you'll have already had a bunch of practice eating at maintenance calories so that you don't just balloon back up the minute that you hit your weight loss goal. Sometimes the long route is actually the shortcut, especially with dieting, because people will burn tons of years giving up and starting over because they chose a plan that was too hard. So this is the power of being a person who looks for answers instead of making excuses for why you can't do it. And you can see this in the show too, as the only overweight person who is actually making progress is the one who believes she can do it and is working out a plan.
It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image.
Personally, for me, I always looked up to thin people. I always found them very beautiful. I was like, I want to be able to look like a Victoria's Secret model one day. It's okay to have a higher standard of beauty because it makes you want, like, oh, I want to work harder on myself to achieve that type of body goal. I might not look exactly like them, like with the hips and everything, but I want to be able to look a healthy version of myself that looks something like that.
In case you forgot, this is the girl from the beginning who said that she started lowering her calorie count, got on a treadmill, paired that with a TV, and lost 60 pounds. Now pretend for a second that anorexia hasn't been a major problem in the modeling industry, and understand that if we don't have people in public who are inspirational figures that others can use to motivate themselves to be better, then you're going to end up with millions of people becoming far less than they could have been, and it will make those people more miserable. That's what's actually the big problem with the fat acceptance and the body positivity stuff.
Yes, because the platform is good and bad. You can use it to your benefit or to your detriment because you believe that you see that it's only, what if they only just show fat acceptance the whole time on the internet, nothing about guys like me that's trying to inspire other guys to get in shape? Then it would be a plague. The hospital will be rich. I mean, they're already fucking rich, but they'll be booming. They'll be, bro, Uncle Sam will be fucking praising, cheering, doing backflips, my nigga. Because so many people are going to be just sick and not know how to fix it at all. You know? So it plays both sided. It is, bro. It's a double-edged sword for the internet.
It's being used to remove all the positive examples of people who are doing well that others can aspire to be, and replacing them with whatever this shit is. Great, I can aspire to get type 2 diabetes. However, one of the shocking things that happened in this discussion is that when the panel was asked about body positivity, almost everyone agreed that it promoted unhealthy habits.
Body positivity can promote unhealthy habits. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I think blind body positivity can be harmful if it's just like always like don't ever consider any possibility that you could change something or improve your quality of life. Just blindly accept yourself. I think that's where it can get kind of toxic.
But I feel like especially on social media and in society today, this body positivity movement, I've seen like multiple times where there's like obese women promoting body positivity.
So I've been pretty outspoken in my belief that if you've lost an arm or are like a burn victim or have some genetic disease that negatively affects your appearance, I think the idea of body positivity is great for helping these people come to terms with their situation, as well as help society create a narrative around how these people can be better or more appropriately treated. However, none of that comes to mind when people say body positivity these days, because it's almost always some very overweight chick talking about how she's oppressed because she ate her way into being 400 pounds. And predictably, the only person who does not step forward in agreement that body positivity can promote harmful behaviors is the one who makes the most excuses for why she has trouble with her weight.
So I didn't step forward because I really hate the toxicity that has come from people being like, oh, body positivity promotes obesity and blah, blah, blah. I hate that so much. I think there is like the minutest people who are doing that. The vast, vast majority, I do not think promote obesity.
Yeah, that's completely not the case, and you know it's not the case when they get mad when Adele loses weight. This was actually something they talked about in the male version.
They got so mad when she lost weight, as if it was like a cry for help, like, oh, she's killing herself. But this is what's fucking up America right here, bro.
Of this panel.
Every time I start slimming down, I start getting the, what are you doing? Why are you losing weight? Because I am in that large guy space.
When I expressed the desire to lose weight, another plus size individual that I used to be friends with was just like, well, I don't feel like I can share your content because I'm not sure how my followers are going to perceive this. I think it might be triggering.
Or do you guys remember this Jubilee panel that I covered where this guy basically had to apologize for losing
My
weight
bad,
and being
y'all.
thin? It was a very strange
This
double
year is
hitting
finally
video.
the year we will
by
see
her
Grand
own
Theft Auto 6, and yet they are still.
My bad. Technical. We
I
bad.
had to go through just to play a fun little Who's the Faker game.
Body positivity, to me, is just loving your body, accepting your body how it is, and not hating yourself. Like, you shouldn't have to wake up every day because you're 400 pounds and hate yourself.
I agree that self-loathing is not productive. That kind of attitude will only encourage people to engage in destructive behaviors, like eating 10,000 plus calories in a day. But I will also say that fat acceptance narratives have a really bad habit of helping addicts stay addicted and stay in their unhealthy ways by making them satisfied with being 400 pounds. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. It's an addiction, and I keep having to repeat that over and over in videos because there is so much gaslighting on the internet with people saying that it's not an addiction or my body is naturally this way.
I am naturally this way. This is
No. No, you're not, bro. You're not. You're not naturally that way, bro. No. You want to be that way.
is with working out 4 or 5 times
That's
a week.
not true.
This is 100% true, bro.
So many people are saying stuff like this that you have to hit them over and over again with the idea that this is an addiction. This woman here is describing.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact address in just seconds. Imagine pulling up your neighborhood, spotting your roof, your street, even the landmarks around you, all in real time.
Describing addiction.
I took a prescription weight loss drug that was prescribed by a doctor, and I was able to drop the weight quickly. I used it as a biohack. I used it short term just to get the weight off, because once the weight is off, now it's on you. You have to know how to eat.
So this is more recently.
Yep, and this is absolutely recent. It's hardcore, but it takes the thought process out of your mind. That thing, that monster that always tells you you're gonna get your next serotonin kick by that food, and you're hyper-focused on eating, and it takes that monster, it stops talking.
Yeah, this is perfectly describing what addicts go through when they want to stop doing their vice. They get the voice in their head that tells them to use. And they have Ozempic-type drugs for those people. They have methadone for heroin users. They have nicotine patches for smokers. And they have that drug that makes you want to throw up when you drink alcohol. Now, as for a quick answer to fix this issue, I used to very much disagree with Mike Israetel, but over time, particularly as my life gets more stressful, I find that he is completely correct. When you're dieting, it is way easier to stay on track when you eat bland food. These days, every time that I go on a diet and I eat food that tastes good, I have a lot of trouble sticking to it. So I find that when I eat bland food like chicken and rice, hard-boiled eggs, or mozzarella cheese sticks, or a potato with no seasoning, after a few days on the diet, the cravings get muted. It's uncanny how effective this is. Also, it's really important that you do not eat processed sugar while you're dieting, and eat around the same times every day. Surprisingly enough, though,
That means no added sugars. Read the back of your labels. If it has added sugars on it, it's gonna fuck you up.
the person who I would say has the most problematic beliefs in terms of ideas that are going to keep someone fat, Jade says this during the Ozempic section.
So I've heavily considered taking Ozempic, but I've decided not to, because you either have to stay on that drug long term to keep those effects, or if you get off of it, most people are gonna gain the weight back. So I'm no longer interested in anything that is not a complete lifestyle change. Right now I'm just trying to, eat less processed food, stay away from like sodas and stuff for the most part.
This was actually super respectable, and I couldn't believe that she said it because so many people like her are looking for a shortcut when realistically, basically none of these shortcuts genuinely work. The red dress girl was kind of alluding to that, suggesting that she cycles on and off weight loss drugs a lot because she keeps gaining the weight back. Even the most effective shortcut, gastric bypass surgery, has a cutoff point where patients will figure out how to overeat with a smaller stomach, and they'll stop losing weight or start gaining it back. I mean, look at Boogie2988. It's been the better part of a decade since he got gastric bypass, and he's still morbidly obese.
Bro, you
This
look
is so
so
common
like
that
y'all,
doctors
bro.
factor in plateauing when they give patients consultations for gastric bypass.
But I will never count calories, like,
Why?
or because to me that leads to disordered eating habits.
I like how she said she was moving off the processed foods and the soda and kind of taking things slowly, but I don't know how she's going to effectively lose weight without counting calories or doing some sort of portion control. There's a way to do that without developing an eating disorder, and she should probably work that out with a health professional or practice meditation to help her not obsess about the calories.
It wasn't until like I gotten older and I started studying mental health, I started studying like different like ways you can take care of yourself with the resources I had. I can control those bad thoughts to let them out. Meditation really was a big thing for me. I loved meditating. Whenever I had those, I call it like noise, like those just.
I agree with meditating. That does help. That does help.
And I'm like, close your eyes, inhale, exhale, and just breathe. Just find your center and calm yourself. That's really helped me a lot.
Oh, great. So someone already said it. Yeah, meditation is the cost-effective way to solve this problem. Meditation will teach you how to stay focused and remove intrusive thoughts. Again, we have our treadmill girl from the beginning who is figuring out effective weight loss strategies that will work with her lifestyle instead of making excuses. So a real factor in whether or not you will actually
That's the main thing I had in one of my videos too, is taste buds and excuses will kill your gains.
While losing weight is being able to recognize red flags for when you have a problem. An example of a red flag would be hearing something like this.
Abuse my body a lot by being an emotional eater. Like I'm a very emotional person. Actually, I just found out last year that I have BPD.
I relate to your story so much. I was an emotional eater too. I still am an emotional eater. I'm working on it.
Emotional eating does not exist. That's just addiction. Addicts will use their vice to regulate their emotions. Some people have a bad day and they smoke to manage it. Some people drink to manage it. Tons of people eat to manage it. Food addiction is extremely common and probably is the most prevalent addiction. Recognizing that you are addicted is important so you can start treating it, and certainly several of the women on this panel admitted to being addicts.
My biggest addiction was food, and you get a serotonin kick. Everybody has a vice because that's something cheap and fast. At some point, it's not, you're not a victim anymore. Like, you're actually doing it to yourself. Addiction is the disease that tells your brain that the problem is the solution.
That is absolutely an excellent way to describe it. So it's great that she can admit to that. However, in society, there seems to be a strong lack of understanding for why people are addicts. What problem is the addiction trying to solve? Well, this reason is a pretty common one.
I've always suffered with anxiety and depression since I was young. I haven't grown up in the best areas. I used to self-harm in different ways.
Ever since I was a teenager, I have struggled heavily with depression and suicidal thoughts, like all the time.
Like when I was getting bullied in middle school, like I was getting called fat and all these things, and I was literally getting notes handed to me saying that I was like a fat whale. It really messed me up, and it made me attempt suicide a few times.
I've heard this one from a lot of people who are morbidly obese, so I think suicidal thoughts and self-destructive behaviors are very common in addicts, and one of the reasons why people engage with addiction is because addiction is a very effective life preserver. Also, on a less intense note, the food is saving people from depression.
And then also privilege when it comes to like your mental health. When you are depressed, when you're struggling to even like get through the day, it can be really hard to have that motivation to eat well, to move your body and stuff. So for then when people are like, oh, well, why aren't you working out? It's like, dude, I can barely even get out of bed. So like, please stop with that.
Well, unfortunately, the only way to cure depression is to actually get out of bed. Fortunately, you don't have to do that much to make vast improvements on your depression. You just have to pick small things that you can stick to for long periods of time. Realistically, I think the vast majority of people who deal with depression are depressed simply because their life sucks and they have nothing to look forward to. A step you can take to fix that is to list out 5 to 10 things that make you happy and make sure that you're engaging with those things in the short term, like daily, and in the long term, like weekly or monthly.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it, don't wait for it, just let it happen. It could be a new shirt at the men's store, a cat nap in your office chair, or 2 cups of good, hot, black coffee. Like this.
A present. Like Christmas.
That's actually pretty solid advice from Twin Peaks. Nobody wants to live a life where nothing good is happening, and if you have nothing to look forward to, then you're going to look forward to food. Outside of that, you need to create an actionable plan to make your life better that includes removing toxic aspects of your life, like debt or bad friends, and has you making progress towards your goals. And when I say actionable, I mean it's easy. So easy that even you can do it. The biggest problem that I see with people giving depression advice or weight loss advice is that the changes they recommend are too difficult to act on for a beginner or for a person who is mentally unwell enough to gain 200 extra pounds. And personally, I really hate that show The Biggest Loser and all of the copycat shows that were like it, because those weight loss shows gave people a very unrealistic view of what is required to lose weight. If you know nothing about health and one of those reality TV shows is your only experience with weight loss, then you're going to think that you will make no progress unless you exercise all day with a program that is so intense that it makes you vomit or have to regularly go into an ice bath and seek medical attention just to survive, followed by eating a crazy low amount of calories per day compared to how much exercise you're doing. Basically a plan that's so rigorous that nobody who isn't getting paid to do a reality TV show is going to do this. So realistically, for your health, you don't need to exercise that much. If you did 2 20-minute weightlifting workouts plus 2 or 3 20-minute yoga practices per week, and maybe you walk on the treadmill while you watch TV for your cardio, then you're going to get into some pretty amazing shape in about 6 months. I'm not kidding, that's all it takes.
Extraordinary results come from repeating ordinary actions over an unordinary amount of time. And if you can't do something consistently over a long period of time, you probably won't succeed at it. There is no such thing as an overnight success, only over time success.
The best part of this ideology is that it makes difficult goals seem more approachable. This makes people believe they can do it, which will encourage them to try instead of making excuses. And unless you decide later that you're really into fitness, you never really need to increase the amount you're exercising from that easy plan that I just gave. You'll be fit enough with the 20-minute workouts, though I would recommend watching a channel like Renaissance.
I'm gonna end it off there, but he's really narrated this video perfectly. And I will end it off by saying that HIIT exercises, if you do 10 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week, full body, eat in a caloric deficit or a maintenance, and you know the main numbers will usually be between 2,000 to 3,000 calories, I guarantee you'll be shredded year round. Promise you that, bro. And if you want to bet me, please DM me. I got my DM for TikTok, Instagram, and what's that shit called, man? Facebook down below. Try me.